Thank you for coming out. Adequate notice was published on Friday, December 22nd, 2023 in the Asbury Park Press. The Manchester Times was advised specifying the time and place of the meeting, and a statement to this effect shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting. The purpose of this special meeting is annual organization of the Board of Education, followed by a meeting to conduct regular business of the board. Before we had Mr. Monahan swear in our newly elected board members, I just wanted to review the election results. This is not in order of votes. So Laura Wingler received 5,184 votes. Tim Poss received 4,289 votes. Gloria Atkinson received 4,837 votes. Sam Carallo received 5,574 votes. Gina, 3,000. Did I say 5? Yes. All right, sorry about that. Gina Giorgiano received 4,149 votes, and Bozina Cheskowski, maybe, 3,062 votes, and then we had 76 write-ins. So at this time, I am going to ask Mr. Monahan to swear in our newly elected board members.
All right. Everybody want to come on up? Do it right here. All right. Good to stand together. All right. Good. Everybody raise your right hand. Hopefully this is long. I state your name. You solemnly swear. I will support the Constitution of the United States and New Jersey. I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. And to the governments established in the United States. So help me God. We're not finished. So moving forward. Sorry. I state your name again. Do solemnly swear. I possess the qualifications for the office of a member of the Board of Education. I'm not disqualified as a voter. I am not convicted of a crime. And I will faithfully and impartially and justly perform all the duties according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, now we have everybody seated. We are going to take a roll call with the newly appointed board. Mr. Servanek.
Here.
Ms. Wingler.
Here.
Mr. Poss.
Here.
Ms. Weinstein.
Here.
Ms. Atkinson.
Here.
Mrs. Pease. Mr. Kelleher.
Here.
Mrs. Mounts. Before we move into board officers, I'm going to ask Mr. Monahan just to briefly explain the code of ethics for board members.
Sure. There's a code of ethics that's in the statute. It's online. Look at it. It's code of ethics, 10 provisions. But briefly, you have a copy of it?
Yeah.
Oh, so briefly, let me tell you what it means. What Board of Education.
Can you turn your microphone on?
Let me tell you what the code of ethics means. It's generally how you function as a board of education. And the issue, and the concern is that you function as a board. You're not individuals. And what that means is you're not to be going to the schools and visiting the school by yourself and going and tell people what to do. If you see a bus doing not operating properly, you don't stop the bus. Complain. You function as a board of education. And with that, that means that you bring the issues to the superintendent, to the business administrator, and we discuss these things as board members, make decisions as a board. Now, what would happen is that you have to be careful of this. If you're, and this probably goes on all the time, if you're in the grocery store, and you see someone's going to say to you, I don't like some issue of maybe staff member, maybe administration, bus driver, custodian. You can listen to somebody. That's fine, but you should say to them, I'm not here to make a decision about that. I'm not here to be discussing their conduct. I will bring it to the appropriate officials, with the superintendent, business administrator, etc. One of the other kind of key things is you can't use the position as a member of the Board of Education for self-benefit. I think that's pretty self-awareness, but nobody does it. I just have to tell you about that. And what that means is you can't be going out to the board using your position, say, you know, I'm Board of Education. If we do this or do that, you can't do that. So the one of the most important things I'll end with this is when you discuss things as a Board of Education in executive session, that's when we deal with personnel issues. You have to keep that confidential. We come out of a board executive session, decide something, or maybe we put something in the future we're going to do. You can't be going out to members of the public, and I think everybody knows this. And I think you're new to the board, so I'm just saying, I think you know this anyway. That's really what that means. And you have to keep it confidential what we're doing in executive session. And that's generally it. If you look at that, it really just tells you about generally how to conduct yourself as a board member. And if there's ever a question anytime, anybody has a problem or issue, feel free to call me, and I can go with that. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. In each of your folders, there is a copy of the Code of Ethics. There's also a copy that you have to sign and return to me before we leave. The board members that were sworn in also have the oath of office in their folders, so make sure you turn those in to me as well. Okay, now we are going to move on to election of officers. So the first one will be taking nominations for board president. Seconds are not required.
I'd like to nominate Gail Mount.
Seconded.
Do we have any other nominations? Okay, we are voting on Mrs. Wingler's nomination for Mrs. Mount as board president. Mr. Servant,
Yes.
Mrs. Wingler,
Yes.
Mr. Paz,
Yes.
Ms. Feinstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Atkinson,
Yes.
Mr. Kelleher,
Yes.
Mrs. Mount.
Yes.
Congratulations, Gail.
Thank you.
Meeting's all yours.
Now I'd like to take nominees for the office position of vice president. Get a nomination?
Make a motion for Laura Woodward.
I'd like to make a motion for Michael Kelleher as well. Are there any other nominations?
Okay,
Mr.
yes.
Lorenzen, real quick before we start, I'm flattered you would nominate me, but I think in the best interests of us being unified, I'm going to ask that you withdraw my name. And I'm personally going to support Laura.
Okay. Great. Okay, so we are voting on Mr. Paz's nomination of Mrs. Wingler for vice president. Mr. Servant,
Yes.
Mrs. Wingler,
Yes.
Mr. Paz,
Yes.
Ms. Weinstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Atkinson,
Yes.
Mr. Kelleher,
Yes.
Mrs. Mount.
Yes.
Congratulations, Laura.
Okay. Congratulations, Mrs. Wingler. Section 1A, operations, numbers 1 through 3. Can I get a motion?
Motion. Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
I just have one comment. On the meeting schedule, our January 17th, we weren't sure coming into tonight what it would be. Our January 17th board meeting will start at 5 p.m. We have we're going to need an extended executive session that meeting for a couple of hearings. So that meeting will start at 5 p.m. The public session will still start at 6:30 as normal, but we will be here starting at 5. That's it.
Is there any other discussions? Can I get a roll call, please?
Mrs. Servant,
Yes.
Ms. Wingler,
Yes.
Mr. Paz,
Yes.
Ms. Weinstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Atkinson,
Yes.
Mr. Kelleher,
Yes.
and Mrs. Mount.
Yes. At this point in the meeting, we open the floor for public comment. The floor is now open to members of the public. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues. The board requests that each statement be made by a participant is limited to 3 minutes as cited in policy 0167. There's a sign-in sheet located at the podium. Please sign in before you speak. Would anybody like to speak? Please state your name for the record.
My name is Daniel Staples. This microphone does not work.
Here.
I would like to congratulate the newly sworn in board members, wish you the best of luck. I'd also like to congratulate President Mount on her second term, and Vice President Wingler, and Mr. Keller. I thought that was really classy what you did there, and I appreciate that. So I just want to say I'm proud to be in Manchester. I'm extremely proud of our Board of Education, the job that you guys do, even though sometimes I show it in weird ways. But you guys are poised to do great things, and we're headed for a great 2024, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Would anybody else like to come to the microphone? Okay. I'd like to make an motion to adjourn our meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out. It's nice to see such a nice crowd.